Transformative Soul Signals podcast with your hosts, Lynnessa
and Monique. Join us as we share our genuine perspectives, guidance, and experiences.
And as we navigate transformative healing journeys and spirituality. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. And if it's your first time listening, happy to have you here. Happy to be back sharing more of my healing experiences and discoveries as I navigate this crazy thing called life. But today I have a very special guest here with me who's going to help me with the topic that I've chosen today. She is my resident dream interpreter. And not like that's official or anything, but she's the person I call the most when I can't figure out what my angels, guides, or dreams are trying to tell me. So my younger sister, Shaquita Qui Varner, is here. Go ahead and say hey.
And she's also the person that I call the most when I need trouble or have trouble interpreting my dreams. So it's good to be here, Lynnessa. I've always been excited listening to your podcast, cheering you on along the way. It's always insightful. It's not like listening to my sister. So glad to be here.
Really? Was that necessary?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I can see right now that this is already going to be
Fun.
a mess.
Fun.
A mess. So I wanted to talk about, I had a download the other morning because I was like, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to talk about? And it always aligns with whatever I'm dealing with at the moment. And we've been having some crazy dreams lately. I don't know what it is, but the dreams, they've been crazy. And
Yeah.
it's
for
like,
sure.
it's like I feel like the more that I easily figure things out, it seems like the more advanced or cryptic they get.
More complicated.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like I feel like it's that way on purpose so I can talk to other people about it and not just figure it out on my own, cuz like, like a lot of times whatever I'm talking about, you may be able to pick up something that you needed to hear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like, I don't know. But yeah, like you said, an encrypted message, and the person that's meant to receive it, they'll receive it when they need to, and they'll hear the message that they need to hear. Or even like when you're reading a story and one person gets one interpretation and someone else reads that same story and they receive an entirely different thing from it.
Yeah, so that's why it's definitely good to have somebody to unpack your dreams with. So that is what we are going to talk about today. And I just love dreams. Like, you guys know I've had some crazy dreams, some crazy experiences. So I thought this would be a good topic because I often find myself helping people interpret their own dreams. So I wanted to bring up a different angle since this is a transformative healing podcast. I wanted to talk about how we can use our dreams to heal, or how our dreams are used for us to heal. And so what can you tell me about your healing experience, because you've kind of been on the same journey as me. You maybe just started a little earlier. Like, what are some reoccurring themes that pop up in your dream that have helped you with your healing process?
Reoccurring things. I would say there are some themes. I would say that I have had some very wild like visions and things that happen or unfolded along the way. I can always tell the difference between a dream and a vision.
Oh, and that's right. So let me just, before you unpack that. So there are different types of dreams, and these are like the main ones that you may experience, and you'll kind of feel that dreams feel differently, or the way you experience them are differently. So I'm just going to talk about the ones that we've both kind of had experience with. So there's visions, and visions are seeing things before they happen or before you experience them. Sometimes you can be awake when they happen, but those are a type of dream. There's lucid, those are kind of like really fun, where like you feel everything that you're experiencing. You can smell the air, like you can feel things, like if someone touched you, you could feel it. It's like it's really happening, and I have my own thoughts about that, because I feel like when we're lucid dreaming, like that we're actually somewhere in really doing what we're dreaming about.
Yeah.
And I'll talk more about that. Then there's the healing dreams that I want to put a lot of attention on today. Astral trips, I don't know if I really count those as a dream, but since they happen while I'm sleeping, while most of us are sleeping, we don't really realize that we do it. I've had, a few that I was conscious of what was happening. I include those. And then fantasy, which you have a lot of fantasies, right?
No, don't put my business on Front Street like that. I feel like, okay, so talking about the fantasy dreams, I feel like a lot of times I might have a fantasy dream because there is an emotion or an experience that I'm suppressing in real life. So I feel like, or I don't want to own up to even wanting that thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like it comes out as a fantasy, or, in a dream where I'm experiencing these things. And then I wake up and I was like, that was really exciting, And I think that's that's actually a fantasy dream can be healing.
Yeah, I was just about to say that sounds just like a healing dream. So like when you wake up after you've had the fantasy dream, do you automatically know how to apply it, or like make changes, or like?
Not always, but when I, actually unpack it, I have to speak it when I wake up. I know I like to speak it, and Lynnessa, she likes to write it down.
Yeah,
And
I have to.
yeah, she has to write it down. I have to speak it to someone, and the more that I speak it, the more things, the realizations will come. But yeah, definitely, they are healing. They are healing. And what was your question in the first place?
No, I was just like, because I've had fantasy dreams, like, and especially if they're ones where you're like, I don't want to say it's out of character, but let's just take sexual dreams, for instance. A lot of us are inhibited. So when we have like fantasies, we're doing things that we wouldn't normally do. Yeah.
Right.
So obviously there's like a subconscious desire to act out or play out certain things. So
Right.
after you have that type of dream, like, do you actively try to figure out ways to bring that out of you or incorporate that into your life, or does it just stay as a fantasy?
I mean, I don't want to put my marital business out there, but yeah, I think so. And it's because actually when you've unpacked the feeling and you have that type of dream, you see that, okay, that's okay. I like the way that I felt. Most likely with me, I probably felt powerful, extremely sexy in that moment, confident, and those are usually where a lot of my fantasy dreams come from. They leave me feeling powerful, sexy, confident, because these are things that I'm trying to embody in my waking life,
That's
in my
what
real
I was
life.
getting to.
Yeah. So I'm trying to embody these things, and I've suppressed them for years. So I feel like that's why I have those types of dreams.
So that in itself is very healing. But I wanted to talk about also like just regular healing dreams, like the ones that I had, which I didn't realize at the time were healing dreams. are ones where it won't be the same exact situation. It'll be like a similar situation to something I've already experienced. And then I will be filled with an emotion. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm someone who's very chill, very laid back when it comes to like acting on aggressions or my temper, which is very fiery. I oftentimes repress it. Scorpio Mars here, so it's it's alive and well in me. But sometimes, because I want to be the bigger person, or I don't want to lose my cool, I will suppress that anger. So what my healing dream kept showing to me was, look, ma'am, you're angry. You get angry. You get mad about a lot of stuff. It's there and it's affecting you, and you need to let it out. Because what would happen is I would experience the situation in a different form in the dream, and then I would wake up feeling like my heart was about to jump out of my chest. I would be enraged, like to the point where I felt like I could strangle someone. That's how angry I would be. And I've never felt that way, just walking around, or at least I didn't think I felt that way.
Good for you.
But apparently I had those emotions inside of me. And so I'd be like, wow, where did that come from? So that's basically like, and that's what it is. Your unconscious is while you're sleeping, because you're more receptive to things. Your subconscious is bringing up, or I like to think, or not think, but I know my spirit guides are involved in this process as well, bringing up things that you've suppressed or that you don't want to acknowledge that you need to heal. Because if you don't, they end up taking a toll on your body, physically, mentally, spiritually. So that's one type of healing dream I would have. I would have certain situations, or like, just take, for example, you're at the office and something happened with a coworker and you really wanted to go off. You know how it is. Like,
yeah, definitely.
But at work, like, you have to think about what you're saying. You have to be composed, or you know how you write those passive aggressive emails.
Per my previous email, when you really want to say, I know you heard what I said.
Right, but you can't say that.
Yeah.
So like, a lot of times you suppress that emotion, and then when you go home, you'll see a similar situation play out, and you'll feel the real emotions that you did not let come out at that moment.
Right.
And those emotions are coming up so that you can heal them.
Right.
And then, like you were talking about, you just talk about dreams for you to keep them.
Right. So I remember them. I like to talk about them first thing in the morning if I'm able. Yeah.
So that doesn't work for me. I'm approaching my my 40th Saturn, or solar return, not Saturn. Solar return. So that doesn't work for me. I definitely, when I wake up, I either write it down or I dictate it to my cell phone in the notes app. And I do that because a lot of times dreams have to be decoded. There's like a lot of symbolism,
a lot
messages, and like, I'm not gonna remember, okay, there was a purple butterfly that landed on my hand, or there was this, he was wearing this color you know what I mean?
Right. Remember the feeling that you felt when the person said what they said. Or you're right.
And that's very important, like your feelings, because your feelings are telling you what you don't acknowledge when you're awake. So I have to write all of that stuff down, and believe it or not, sometimes I won't even unpack it like the same day or week. Sometimes it'll take me like a month. And then when I feel intuitively led, I'll go back to it.
Right.
And it'll be going with something that
is going on
in my life.
Right.
Exactly. So like, has that happened to you a lot?
So we were talking about the difference between dreams and visions. So one of the things that I noticed when I'm having a vision, I know it's spirit led, is I wake up, I am so tired, and I cannot catch my breath, like hyperventilating,
Yep.
actually crying, like just crying, just so full of all kinds of emotions, and actually feeling like I did go a place.
Yeah, because you went a place. You
Yeah.
most definitely went a place.
And so one of the most powerful ones, I would say the first one that I had that I remembered, it unfolded. It took years for it to unfold. Just to give you a brief rundown of this dream. In this one dream vision, there was this woman at my job that I used to work with and her sisters, and they were singing. I've never met this lady's sisters. I just know that this lady was religious because she called us out for gossiping one time in the parking lot at work. So that was that. That was that part of the same vision. The same vision, this man, he took the phone out of my hand and he kept throwing it down. I kept picking it up. He kept throwing it back down. Another part of the same vision was I was standing in front of, the glass that you see at a buffet. I was standing in front of the glass, and I remember, I know it's crazy, my breast leaking milk. And I remember it just flying out on this screen.
Oh my.
Yeah. And then I was telling people how to cook the food and what needed to go in it. So time goes by. I think about the woman singing with her sisters. I became the ministry leader at the church I was going to at the time. And who was I singing with? My sisters. And then when it came to the man with the phone, I was on the phone at the time at work, and I desperately did not want to be at the phone. I ended up being promoted to quality assurance and no longer had to make calls at that time. Another part, I got pregnant with my child, and I believe that explained the milk in my breast. After a whole 10 years, I had my third child.
Wow.
And the last piece, I believe, had to do with my business. I've always thought it was going to have to do with cooking, but I think it has to do with me making my products and me telling people about how to make products, which heal, which is still being played out.
And that's crazy that you say that, because I noticed that too. That's another form of the dreams that I've had. I guess I didn't see it as a vision, but since you say it that way, like I'm talking about myself, but since you say it that way, it is kind of a vision. Like whenever I'm feeling apprehensive, like before you start a new job or when you first meet a person, like I had a relative, a cousin who was coming who I hadn't ever met before. And, I was just a little apprehensive because she was moving in. She's a college student. And I was just worried about having everything prepared for her. And so then the next thing I know, I had a dream and she was in it. And the dream was basically, there was a lot of symbolism, but to make a long story short, it was showing me that I didn't have anything to worry about. It was showing me how she would show up in my life. Like she threw me up into the air. And I took that as she's someone, uplifting, encouraging, positive, which she is. She was like going against the crowd. And that's how she is. She doesn't like large crowds. She likes to do her own thing, which I'm just like that. And it was basically like preparing me for her being there. Now, one thing that I'll say in that dream that I haven't really learned everything yet, because like you said, it unfolds with time.
As time goes on, yeah.
And this is a recurring theme that my guys like to use, and I'll talk about that too. But there was a forest and we couldn't see through it. So what does that mean? Just go through this experience and you don't know what's on the other side. And they like to use that a lot with me. So that brings me to my next thoughts about dreams, and I'm sure many of you listening have had the same experience where you dream of like the certain elements or the certain symbols or the certain things over and over. So like I'll tell you about mine, which you probably already know because it constantly shows up. It's like once I identified the meaning and it makes sense to me, because the symbols, they can be ones like that you find on the internet. You know how like you can look up dreaminterpretations.com.
Yeah, like dreaming when you're falling. Yeah.
That kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? But it gets a lot more personal. It's like as you become more open to it, they get more accurate and they get a lot more like fine tuned to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll hear songs that only, like, how would I hear that song? Like, how would I hear Anita Baker in a vision that I had? Because they know I love Anita Baker. And the song would tie perfectly into the situation. And I could never look at that song the same way again.
Exactly. And so that's the thing. The ones it's a hit. Oh, okay, she gets it. She's finally catching on, because you know sometimes I could be a little stubborn, a little dense. So it's like once I'm finally understanding, they will reuse that point. But
Right.
talk about like stuff that's been reused for you in your dreams that you like.
Alligators.
Alligators.
When I find myself self-medicating because I'm depressed about something, or I'm in a moment of my sadness and my feelings, because I know, we all go through these like series of ups and downs.
Moods.
So yeah, these moods. And when I'm in those, I find myself drinking or not paying attention to my health like I should. I dream about alligators, and it's usually the alligators they're chasing after me, or the alligators are coming at me, and I'm trying to grab them by their mouth one by one. And one time I was driving in my garage, and alligators were coming out of the top of the garage, and it makes sense to me because I know it's because I'm suppressing feelings that I need to explore, and also because there are problems that I need to pay attention to that I'm just ignoring.
That you're running from.
I'm just running from problems.
Yeah, and you're right, because when I'll have dreams about you, that's
that's usually what it is. Yeah, because I tend to do that a lot.
Yeah.
I tend to do that.
Me too. But like, okay, so it's a little gross, but my guides like to use the bathroom. So it's either using bathroom or someone urinating or somebody pooping, and I'm like, what in the hell? Like enough with the pee and the poop, but I understand that it means, and if it's not pee and poop, it's trash. And I know that it means like stuff that I need to get rid of,
right,
or release, or stuff that is
Things
longer
that
serving.
No longer serve.
Correct.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Or like me picking up other people's trash means I'm taking on their bull.
Other people's baggage.
Yeah, and I don't need it. So like I realize, okay, that's what that means. So even though it's very like, it's not the best thing to see in my dream, it makes the point. So
it makes
like
the point. Yeah.
So like I say that to say, like, if you notice something that keeps happening in your dream that you don't necessarily like, or you're like, what the hell does this mean? But it keeps showing up, unpack that, look into that, because it's like there's a message that either you're ignoring, or there's something that is specific to you that you would understand, and that's why it keeps being used over and over again. And like that makes me think of too, I know a lot of people, I want to like briefly talk about like symbolism in dreams. Like a lot of people have dreams where there are snakes, and they always take it as like something to be fearful of. Have you ever had like any snake dreams? Or
I haven't had any snake dream. I did have a tiger dream.
Ooh, I like that.
And the tiger dream,
I already know where this is going. I can feel it in my spirit going.
I don't even remember. Okay, I do remember. I had something really troubling going on, and I had to go to court. And I was so anxious about going to court, not because I was wrong, but because I knew I was right, and I feel like I wasn't going to get the justice, or my family wasn't going to get the justice that they deserved. And I tore the head off the tiger.
I know that's right.
And it was the night before, so it was almost like the Holy Spirit was telling me, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Like, don't be afraid of the tiger. Forget the eye of the tiger. You gonna take the whole head off, child. And that's what happened.
And I love that. I love when, like, my dreams are like that, because it just puts me at ease. But like, so like sometimes when scary things show up, it's not something to be afraid of. Like, snakes are actually, I had snakes showing up in my real life, and that's another thing. Like, you'll see elements in your real life that reflect some of the things you saw while you were dreaming. And then I even had like a spirit snake visit me, and it was like crawling up my leg while I was sleeping. And 7-7 on the timer. Anyway, so 7-7. It was crawling, and for the longest, I was scared of it. This was before I had, like, my big awakening and all this and started my healing journey. That was alluding, seeing the snake everywhere, seeing the snake in my dreams, that was alluding to the fact that I would have like a Kundalini awakening. And snakes represent, even though they get a bad rep, they represent like sacred femininity. They represent ancient occult knowledge, spirituality, wisdom. So it's like, it's not all the time when you see like certain elements or animals or colors in your dreams that it's a bad thing. So never like be afraid to like, I don't know, like tap into your own intuition, meditate about it, pray about it, and see what answer comes up for you, because it's not always something to fear or be afraid of. In my experience, all of my dreams have been helpful in some way or another.
Right.
Like, I've had like the weird lucid dreams where I'm visiting different places and whole scenes are playing out, and it's just like, this is not a regular dream. So like, to me, lucid dreams are us visiting the dream world, like another dimension. It's just another way of like having an astral trip, because to me, we're all energy, we're all consciousness. Like, whenever I had an astral trip, I was just consciousness. I was formless. And whatever I thought, like if I thought, oh, I want to see my mom right now, oh, I want to see my baby.
And that is specific to certain people that have that gift. I've never. Well, see, but that's where you're wrong. Everyone, astral trips. You just don't remember, or you're not conscious. And I feel like, because I come at it from like a non-fearful place, like I'm really crazy. I'll be laying there like, let's go. Well, wow, I would probably be like, Jesus save me.
Yes, yeah. Like I am so with it, and I feel like that's why things happen and I see things, right? Because number one, believing is seeing. You're not gonna see if you don't believe. But number two, I'm just so freaking excited to like experience this crazy stuff.
Because I like how you said believing is seeing instead of seeing is believing.
Yeah, believing is seeing, because we shape our reality with our thoughts. So if you think that this and that is not real, then this and that is not going to be real, because your thoughts are going to reflect back to you whatever is real to you, whatever you want to see. So if you are saying, oh, I'm crazy, you're going to get proof in your real life.
Yeah, you're going to go to the doctor and tell them that you astral trip, and they're going to put you on medication. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Well, I won't be visiting them anytime soon. I will just keep doing what I'm doing. But like the last time I meditated, I could kind of feel it was about to happen. And so it used to be like in the beginning, I would gently ease out like a light cloud, and I just be floating around like la ti da. But now it's like I shoot out like a rocket, and I'm like, let's go, let's go. So I just and it's like I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to that body, but it's like I understand, why I'm here, and it also makes me more grateful for the life that I have, more grateful for this experience, grateful for the fact that I can have dreams and remember,
Yeah.
doing these things. Even like past life memories, you know what I'm saying? Those will show up in your dreams as well. Like if you've ever tried past life regression.
Yeah.
I did like you remember that the women's retreat thingy I did.
Yeah.
We had a mini one where we were just kind of meditating and we saw things. But I want to do like the big kahuna one where you're like,
you go right ahead.
You don't want to do it?
More power to you.
See, and that's why. So you can that's why you can, because you're like, no, I haven't experienced arcade, because like what you're comfortable with is what's gonna happen. If you're not comfortable, certain things aren't gonna happen. And then as well, like
I agree with that.
A lot of people experience like negative dreams or negative entities, which I've experienced that as well, but I kind of just send things away with love. But for the most part, I would say 95% of the time, my experiences have been positive, and that has to do with your vibe, how you feel. Like if you're going through a tough time and you're experiencing a lot of fear and anxiety and, emotions that aren't in alignment with who you truly are, or you haven't started that healing, you're going to, have those things come around you,
right?
So it's been my experience that I really didn't have anything crazy happen. So I just understand why, people may be like, I wouldn't be with that.
Right.
But yeah.
And not only that, a lot of that, the fear is taught to us.
That's true.
I mean, we're not going to get into that, because that's a whole nother show. But the fear is taught to us. And I think if we, step out of what we were taught and go by
just be open.
what feels true.
Oh, you
to
saying
you.
something. You
like,
saying something.
Like what resonates to your spirit.
You are saying something.
You know
right
what I'm
now.
saying? And go from there.
Correct.
Like, this doesn't feel wrong to me. This feels like what my great grandmother would have done.
Exactly.
Or this sounds like what my great grandmother was trying to tell me, and I looked at her like she was crazy.
Yeah.
As opposed to what I might hear on a Sunday morning, or
from your elders, your family, right. People who don't understand, people who haven't experienced things you've experienced or dreamed things you've dreamed, but you just have to go within and listen to your inner self and feel what resonates.
And trust yourself.
Correct.
And trust yourself. And be careful who you share what with.
Come on now.
Be careful who you share what with. Like, if you have a dream and you feel like you want to share it with somebody, share it with someone who's been receptive to things like that you shared before, or somebody that has an open mind.
And someone you can trust, absolutely, because a lot of intimate things can happen in your dream that you may not understand. Traumas are coming up. Your inner child situations that you've experienced are coming up, and they are coming up in different ways, to get your attention, or things you may have repressed. So you don't want to just be, talking to people who don't honor or respect that, or aren't going to be able to support you.
Right.
Because
they don't have to believe your dreams, and they don't have to believe what you believe, but they do need to listen and respect and be able to soak in what you tell them and be able to give you advice if you ask for it.
Absolutely.
Or if you ask them, what do you think? And if you're talking to a person you're not really sure and they say, well, what do you think? Well, I just think you had a dream. And they just move on from there, then that's probably not the person that you need to be talking to about your dreams.
Yeah, I've experienced that. And I've had some beautiful dreams. Like before I started my healing journey, I was very kind of scared about sharing certain things with my family because my family has always been very religious in the church, and I from my experiences and awakening, I became someone who believes that pretty much all roads lead to the same place. There's just different elements that make it different based on where it's happening or the people who are involved, whatever. So I take bits and pieces. I take what resonates to me because I feel like everyone has pieces of the puzzle. They don't have the whole puzzle. So I was apprehensive about sharing stuff with my family, and then one beautiful dream I had was where I was getting off of a bus, and to me a bus means you are, because whenever there's a vehicle, if you're not driving, you're not in control of your life. So if me being on that bus was like me being a part of a tradition or society. So getting off of it meant I'm getting away from that. You're getting
away from it, yeah.
So
you're stepping off. You're stepping, yeah.
So, and then there was a beautiful, calm ocean behind me, which represents my emotions, being calm, healing. And then I remember hearing someone, oh my God, hurry, this boy is hurt. He needs help. He needs help. And I remember feeling, and this was even before I started learning Reiki and about being able to heal people. I was like, oh my God, I have to go heal him. So I run over there, and this is before I even before my sister started with her awakening and her healing journey. She was already there laying hands on the little boy and healing him. So it was a way, and my mom was there, and she wasn't as supportive. She was kind of standing off to the side
no, but I don't mean to cut you off, but the do y'all know the real crazy thing was before she even told me about that dream, I had a dream that I was laying hands on people praying, and it was just so many people would just cross my path, and I would just lay hands and I would pray. And it was when I tell you it was so many people on a long road, thousands of people walking to me, and I'm like, what the?
Exactly. So when I had that dream, I was like, okay, I'm safe. This is telling me my sister is just like me. My sister is a healer as well, even though she doesn't realize it. So from that dream, I was able to share with her, look, we're healers. And I kind of feel like we knew that already because we have it in our family. All of the women in our family are caregivers and healers. But we didn't really know. It's there was no
word for it, for one thing.
Yeah, or no, it wasn't talked about. It was kind of forgotten. It was more so stick to religion and do this way. But it previous generations, that's not how it was.
That's not how. Yeah.
It was more spiritual. So we didn't really have that upbringing or training that fostered or facilitated it, but we didn't need it because we have a whole team in the unseen that helped us just fine, as well as our inner guidance systems that everyone is born with. So,
and if you're out there right now listening to this, these two chicks are kind of crazy.
Thank you, because I am. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. First of all, thank you. But second of all, if you would have told us that this is the conversation that we would be having 5 years ago, we probably would have looked at you like you were crazy.
Absolutely. So that just tells you a lot. Now when I call her, oh, I had a download, me saying that, a few years ago, I would have been the person to be like, yeah, she's smoking that good stuff. But but like that's literally what happens. Like before this episode, I had a download. I could see like the light codes and everything going off in my head, and then I woke up and I just knew everything I needed to know, or it's crazy, how it works and how it happens. But it's a beautiful thing, and a lot of it starts from my dreams. A lot of everything that I go through, I can count on my dreams to help me through it.
And I think that's one of the main reasons why dreams are so important, or why the Holy Spirit uses our dreams to speak to us, is because we're susceptible, we're open, we're asleep. Our mind is mostly at rest, and we're able to unpack all the things that we suppress during the day. We're just laying there. And not only that, the time of night, there's a time of, yes, I do believe there is a time of night when you are just more spiritually open.
Yeah, there is. There absolutely is. There absolutely, because that's what the majority of the time when stuff happens, it's during that time. But like before we close out, I just wanted to talk about how, like, how dreams seem like they don't connect, like there's a lot of different stuff happening at a time. And I feel like that's because our higher power, our guides, whatever, are like, okay, now that I have your attention, now that you're listening, let's take care of all of these things at one time. So it'll be like many different scenes, and it's like, and it's like none of this makes sense. It's all random, but I feel like that's why it happens that way, because we're already paying attention. So they're like, okay, the mic is on. Let's hurry up and shoot our shot and say what we have to say.
What makes me think about that is a honey-do list, kind of like when you go over. Well, for example, my husband, when he goes either to my mom's house or his mom's house, and it might be to fix one thing, he already knows it's going to be, well, while I got you here, and before he leaves, it's going to be 5 to 6 things that he's going to have to fix. And I feel
absolutely.
like that is exactly how that is.
Oh, absolutely.
Like now that you're here.
Correct. Now that we have your attention, because your mind is not racing and thinking of all kind of random things that are not helping you right now. Like I was saying today, I was talking about, I forgot what it was when I told you, it was something I was referring to my journey, like my weight journey or health and wellness journey. And I was talking to my sister, and I was like, because I'm dealing with this, I wanted to say journey, but my mind was like, your struggle. And I was like, really? Really? Like all of this positivity and hypnosis, and you come out with struggle. So yeah, like every now and again, even though I am working on changing my mindset and I'm using the dreams to heal, yeah, your mind is hilarious. Your mind will still find a way to, intervene and say some crazy stuff. So the time when it is most quiet is when you are at rest, and that is the best time for dreams. And then I even noticed, like, when you pay more attention to the dreams you have while you're asleep, then it's like your psychic impressions or your waking dreams become stronger, because you're paying attention. You have a system.
It's like a muscle.
Correct. You have a system. Like if you see certain things, that's what it means. Like I'll start to see flowers blooming aggressively, then I know that means something is going to thrive and flourish or bloom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not always going to be like, Lynnessa, the winning lottery numbers are... That's not going to...
Why can't it, though? Why can't it, though?
That's not going to happen. But, like, if I want to know, oh, my gosh, should I do this? Is this a good idea? And then I see a bunch of roses just aggressively blooming in my head, I know, okay, yes, this is something I need to do. So, like, you'll start experiencing more things like that as you pay attention. And like I said, I really encourage you to write your dreams down, everything you can remember, especially how you feel, because that's very important. Like when you're doing shadow work or healing work, that's the hardest part, figuring out why the hell do I feel this way? Like that was the hardest question for me to answer, because you have to uncover every layer like
All
an
the
onion,
layers.
and
Right.
you're like, okay, why am I lashing out? Why da 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 da? And then you get to the bottom, and it's like my inner child feels rejected or abandoned.
Right.
But like, if you just remember how you felt in the dream, boom, there's your answer. You know, that feeling. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You have anything else you want to share about your dreams?
No, but it's been a real pleasure having this discussion with you. Not like we don't have this discussion every other day.
Yeah, we do.
But it's been really nice.
Yes, and like one thing I do want to do, because there's like this app that we talked about, I think it was like 2 or 3 episodes ago, Wisdom, where it's a platform that you can go on and you kind of host dialogues or discussion, and people on the app can hop on and you guys can talk. So that's something I actually want to like put out there to whoever is listening. Join us over on that app. Like, I love helping people with their dreams. I feel like I've gotten very good at it. And if you are having like some confusing dreams, you don't understand, you don't know how to unpack, come on there, or even like send us an email, drop us a DM on our Instagram, you know, and I'll put everything is in the description that we always put. But send those things. We want to hear from you. We want to talk to you. We want to actually engage with you on your healing journey, because when you don't have a support system, I mean, because we all have a spiritual support system, we have a whole team, but when you don't have people around you who are dealing with what you're dealing with, it can feel very lonely and confusing. And sometimes you just want to give up. And like, especially if it's woo-woo stuff, as they call it. Like, every time I talk to people, they're like, oh, that's kind of woo-woo. I love woo-woo. Please give me your woo-woo. Please.
Woo-woo. Bring your woo-woo, please.
I can help you with it. I can, you know, help you with that healing.
Which is
towards
crazy
that
to
healing
me,
process.
because I can name like 10 things off rip that was woo-woo in the Bible. I'm just saying.
No, it's true.
Let's talk about the donkey talking.
It's not, and that's what I'm saying. It's not just like, it's everything. It's in everything. But people, you know, people get, I don't want to say trapped, but people get so focused on just a small percentage. And it's like, you are but a grain of sand, you know, and everything else is the whole like beach. Like,
yeah.
So how could you limit yourself to being a grain of sand?
Grain of sand.
And I forgot who said it. Oh my God, I'm going to kick myself, but it's one of my favorite quotes. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. And that's exactly what it is. Mic drop. But
Mic drop.
But yes, I love you guys. Thank you for listening. I'm going to put my sister's contacts in the description. So check her out. She sells some very wonderful, high quality healing, skincare, beard care, whatever care. What kind of care?
Bath salt, natural, body butters, lotions.
I swear by it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. And until the next time, later.
Bye.
Keep dreaming. And as always, thank you for listening to today's episode. If you're interested in more, you can check out our blog at transformativesoulsignals.com. Goes a little deeper into the discussion. You can also follow us over on IG, Facebook, or TikTok at Transformative Soul Signals for more content or to continue on the conversation. Have a comment or a question you need help with? Well, you can send us a recording or message to info@soulsignalspodcast.com that we may even end up featuring on the show. Till next time, take care.